good ending is never earned. This is fate. I tasted too much. I fought fate so many years. In the end, I could not win. But you, maybe you're... Will you admit it? You're afraid. You know my ending. You believe all the prophecies will be realized. You will be the origin of ruin. You will be the harbinger of disaster. You decide. You accept. Really?
Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are going to be continuing the narration and character voice acting for the main story of Arknights, episode 13, aka chapter 13, The Whirlpool That Is Passion. Alright, and as always here at the very beginning, to anybody who is new to Arknights and or is bumping into the narration through this very episode, hello and welcome, and playlists are all linked in the description of the video for both this, stories that are connected to the main story, and especially if you're new to Arknights completely, I would recommend just the first part for this very chapter, which I have specifically linked down in the pinned comment in the comment section below, in which I on verbatim went or explained for maybe a bit too long about what stories are connected and what are in game, where you can find them, and what other means there are to just, you know, enjoy the story, besides what is here on the channel. But anyway, enjoy, I hope it helps. And, yeah, get immersed. It's quite the ride. And, as always, thank you guys for all the comments and the likes on the previous episode. As always, as I say, they really help a lot and mean a lot, so thank you guys very much. And there was a couple of very amusing ones, and one that popped up just as I was about to record this opening here, and it just made me laugh. Sorry I don't have your name right now in front of me as I'm recording, but you'll know who you are when I mention the pancakes and having to go and do laundry. Oh my god, I laughed so hard at that comment. Thank you very much. I was just like, ah, yes, someone else who found that whole section of the story just like, yeah, nah, I think I need to stand up and do something else right now. That was amazing. But yeah, like I said, as a villain, I love the guy, but everything else about him disgusts the living hell out of me. Whoever conceived, that is a word to use on him, whoever conceived this guy and created his backstory, I want to meet that person. I want to make it a life goal of myself to meet this person maybe down in my life somewhere at some point. I want to walk up to them. I want to shake their hand and congratulate them on the creation of the Confessarius. Then I'm gonna slap them and then I'm gonna hug them. Just to confuse the ever-loving shit out of them. And to voice my opinion on the character. Oh god, I want that to happen. I don't want to, you know, be too physical, but I want it to happen. Anyway, thank you for that comment and all the other comments. Much appreciated, guys. Alright, we're gonna do the quick recap, and that means if you guys wanna skip, as always, the timestamps are down below and you will be straight at the beginning of today's part. Alright then. On the previous part, we began pretty much once again where we left off. Siege team has received the SOS from Horn's team, aka the Tempest platoon, and they head out to help. They found where they're located. It is in a town that is pretty much bombed to smithereens, and Siege and Horn and team are pretty much in a building in the middle of it all, being surrounded by Sarcus on every front. Essentially, they have technically no escape routes, but Siege and a small part of the Glasgow team managed to sneak in. They managed to make contact with Horn, and they exchange information. Horn tells them that they will not be retreating out of the town because in a week's time a Duke force will be arriving in the vicinity and they will deal with the Sarcus and recapture the city. So the goal is to keep the city under their control for that week. So they join up forces and they engage with the Sarcus that are essentially occupying the city. It goes sorta smooth, sorta Humpty Dumpty here and there. Dagda gets injured, Morgan gets injured, and Siege leads a final assault on, or a final hit on the Sarcus witchcraft device and shatters it to pieces, while also injuring herself in the process. After that, she is out as a light for at least 2 days. The forces do reconvene back at the old camp, where Siege and team were in before, and they explain to Siege once she wakes up after those 2 days in pretty much a coma, what has transpired and why they had to retreat. They pretty much had to retreat because the Templar's platoon, well, they would not very well jive, let's put it that way, with the Ducal force, and obviously Siege and her team are also kind of a ragtag team themselves, especially with Delphine on their side. So they reconvene in the camp, and later that evening, Siege would finally make a decision. Upon examining the little ID device that was given to her as a thank you for saving the city, she gets given the name of a elite Victorian squad that was pretty much doing miracles in their time when they were active, the Exemplars. She uses the device essentially to, or rather she uses the inspiration she gets from there, the final push, you could say, from that to rally the people around her to her cause, essentially reforming the Exemplars from everybody who is present. As an extra note, the Tempest platoon, as was said, it has been made in the likeness of the Exemplars. After that amazing scene, we move on to our favorite mercenary trio, as they are trying to find the lifeline that Theresis is using to transport goods and people across of Victoria unseen. They land upon finally going to Brentwood, where pretty much everybody at some point seems to want to reconvene in, but they don't go directly into the city, they go to the mountain range behind the city. As they enter a cave on the mountain range, Ines notices that something is off with the cave, so her and Hodor go deeper inside while W will secure the exit. And yes, she will secure it with her bombs. Ines and Hodor go deeper into the cave, and they find what they're looking for essentially. Once they reach the depths, they realize that the cave on the inside is massively hollowed out, and they find their transport vehicle and some other things. One of them being an old friend of theirs by the name of Ursula. But the transport vehicle is not something I think any one of them has imagined, as they see a giant skeleton of something that looks or resembles a whale, but turns out to be a old Faranmood that when you just see it you would think that thing should be dead. But no, that thing is still somehow alive and is even capable of growing out its own nerves to grab onto and latch onto the cargo that it's transporting, as the thing is capable of manipulating space-time. It can pretty much teleport anywhere it wants. But after this big reveal, they also run into Ursula, and they exchange some pleasantries, you could say. From the conversation we finally get the official confirmation about Ines and her background race, which is Caprene. But after all the pleasantries are done and said, combat ensues. Hodor keeps Ursula busy and her forces, while he tells Ines to get as much intel as possible on the Faranmood. Ines hops onto the Faranmood, but is also being blocked off by other forces that keep on just interfering with her investigation. She lands in one of the built-in cabins that the thing is carrying, or is attached to it, I couldn't tell honestly. Looks more like attached when you look at the art. But she runs into Ursula, who intercepts her as she broke off from Hodder, and after they exchange a couple of words, Hodder busts in and busts Enos out, and the two of them manage to escape. After that, we get treated to another scene with another group. We hop back to Cutest, back in the camp where she's recovering, together with others. Shining is there as well, together with Nightingale, and as the three of them are talking, they get a surprise visitor. The Confessarius appears before them together with Salus. Salus keeps a monster busy that Cutest summons up, and the Confessarius, upon saying some very decrepit shit, engages into something that is pretty much trying to awaken the dormant or locked off memories from Nightingale. And it seems that he actually succeeded in so. We get treated to many scenes of the past between Nightingale and Shining before Shining broke off from the Confessari. We hear Shining's real name, the Confessarius' real name, but at the end of it all, the Confessarius and Salus get shooed away, and they get shooed away by the appearance of what appears to be at first glance another monster, which was already confusing, but obviously it's not another monster, it is the Damazi cluster. But it is not the one we met at the beginning of this chapter, this is the other one that broke off when they originally died at the end of episode 12. And this one seems to want to be around Rhode Island for the time being, as it wants, or rather he wants, an answer from them. Or rather, wants to have something shown to them. But seems to be that a Damazi cluster will stick around with Rhode Island. Well, this is gonna be interesting. But anyway, we then get treated to one more scene at the very end, which is back at the reunion camp as Tallulah exchanges words with an individual by the name of Noel. This guy seems to be, as pointed out by Tallulah, a long-lived one, and as Tallulah is, obviously because of her past, very well interested in any kind of long-lived one, she exchanges some words and is kinda trying to figure out if the guy is a threat or not, but as he said, he is pretty much not a threat, doesn't even have any kind of crazy arts powers or anything else crazy around him, but apparently is trying to see about the method to end his own life, and potentially the lives of other long-lived ones, so this will lead to something, I guess. This guy might be absolutely unhinged, but who the hell knows, we'll see, I guess. But yeah, which is where we end, and it brought on one interesting question, and that is, or rather, we ended on the fact that he brought up that there is another long-lived one in Victoria behind the scenes doing stuff. Now, who that is, we don't know yet, but as another commentator pointed out on the previous part, my thought went to the Duke of Castor, but I also had the inkling, and this is purely, once again, by the, and this is only speculation by the way, purely by the fact that Tallulah showed interest in Ablana for no reason at all besides Ablana being another Draco. I was thinking, I mean, she's kind of pursuing the long-lived ones. What if it's Ablana? Again, speculation, we'll see. But I guess good to keep in mind. It could be someone that we already met, it could be someone we haven't met, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, let us proceed. So then, today we will obviously proceed from where we left off last time, which is stage 10, and we will go all the way to 15. Also, considering we will go all the way to 15, the notes for 11 and 14 in here are also now opened up, so we will do those, but we will do those at the very end of the video. So once we're done with the entire story for today, we're gonna go back into the postcards and check those out. But for now, we shall begin on stage 10. And before we do so, considering the story here is the after story for the battle stage, first we have two new enemies to introduce. One of them being the Sarcus Bone Guard. And it says, a guard responsible for protecting the Faranmut skeleton. As some of the most loyal adherents of the military commission, they will carry out their duties at any cost, even if they must shed their own blood. The other one is the elite version essentially, the Sarcus Bone Guard Captain, a guard captain responsible for protecting the Faranmut skeleton. As some of the most fervent adherents of the military commission, they will realize the commission's will at any cost, even if they must shed their own blood. Cool, good for them. So then, stage 10 is titled The Promised Land Drifts, and it says, make staunch your ego, and confront the lamentations of their souls. Let's begin.
Where am I? Pain, rip, shatter. Every bit of suffering is piled upon my body. Every person killed silently is myself. No, I must... But why can I not summon the strength? Someone seems to be urgently calling my name.
Amiya! You promised me! Reject the voices!
Is that the doctor? I can't tell. I want to reply. I try opening my mouth, just to tell the doctor I'm fine. The pain starts to fade away as the chaotic scene finally becomes clear. I search for what strength remains in my body. I see cities devastated. I see Originium blanketing the land. I see you. The fuzzy echoes get further away as I open my eyes. This is a battlefield. My battlefield. The battlefield of the King of Sarcus. An army lies dormant behind me, silently raising their banners up high, soaked through with blood, pain, and suffering. Of ours, of our enemies.
We will take this last city. Their resistance has reached an end.
You are the king of the Nachtseer court. What's your name?
I have no name. I am merely your loyal subject, King of Sarcus. This is your fate. You will bring us salvation. All that we fervently wish for, all that we have finally achieved. Salvation.
I nod slightly. A droning cry fills the air, declaring a new chapter of destruction. The earth beneath my feet, it squirms, it curls, all because of me. This is the grace the Lord of Fiends has bequeathed the lands. The formation begins advancing.
Your will is our will. You have answered the prophecy, and thus it will yield its rewards. Please leave it to us. This battle will not drag much longer.
Prophecy? Prophecy. I once heard that. You look exhausted these days. Amiya, you can't go on like this. You need to rest. Theresa? Is that it? I'm exhausted? We fought a difficult battle at the Defense Forces Control Tower, with Dr. Kaltze taking a serious injury. Norport Borough has been locked down, all its residents left for dead. We are at the tender mercies of Victoria's catastrophes, but our military is yet to give up. Within the Sargonian City of Gold, the Ziodan millennium-old roars nailed shut in their coffins. Twillingstone spires, rotted and crumbling, not a tune ever to ring out again. The eternal holy city of Laterano, its pure white cathedral dyed in black, their ancient betrayal paid in full. Even under the tides, the arrogant eager bowed their heads to me. For those still try to uphold their dignity, I claim them one by one. In all of these, one solitary figure remains constant. Is all of this my doing? Is all of this my doing? These are all things you need to do, Amia. You have come to the origin of it all. This is also our fated end. I feel something flowing out of the edge of my eyes. Theresa raises a gentle hand and wipes my tears away. Don't be like this, Amia. King of Sarcus, I personally placed this crown upon your head and brought to you this pain and glory. We will face it together. This is the will of the myriad souls. We cannot deny it. The more you reject it, the more you suffer. The more you resist it, the weaker you are. Theresa's face begins to blur. All of them are telling me this, all at once. Across millennia, all the Sarcus within the myriad souls, they are all telling me this. There is no rebuke, no terror. They just truly wish for me to be at peace once more. We have seen so much defiance of fate. Prophecies manifests early before those who defy it, and it is clear as day where they will ultimately fall. We are grateful for those pointless challenges. Through their struggles they weave an ode to heroes, yet the heroes themselves are destined to perish. The more you reject it, the more you suffer, because you understand. All choices, all struggles, all fatigue, the sorrow you swallow, they bear no meaning. Rejecting it only embitters the gentle hand of fate. The more you resist it, the weaker you are. Because you realize, all fights, all resistance, the blood we spill, are haggard words. They have no destination. Resistance only fills your destined home with thorns. Why bother? Why bother? We only wish for you to rest. Close your eyes, Amia. Close your eyes. Millions of kin bow down before my rusted throne. They will bear Kazdel here. The king spurs them, the king drives them, the king enslaves them. This is your mission. This is my mission. This is my predestined fate.
A good ending is never earned. This is fate. I tested it too much. I fought fate so many years. In the end, I could not win. But you, maybe you're. Will you admit it? You're afraid, little king. You know my ending. You believe all the prophecies will be realized. You will be the origin of ruin. You will be the harbinger of disaster. You decide. You accept. Really?
I...
Without exception, Amia. Even he, Buldracasti, succumbed to fate. Are you stronger than him? Braver than him? Do you think those soft shoulders of yours can bear the weight of the frost and blades he's borne? At the end of your journey, you will regret, you will suffer for your sin. Your sin of not being able to accept who you are. Look at your hands, child. Look at your hands.
I glance down, feeling at my hands. I try curling my hands into fists. Is this my will? On the vast battlefield, I stand alone. Innumerable corpses. The black crown hovers above her head. I see you, black crown on your head, melting millions of lives into nothing but memories. I see the Lord of Fiends enslaving all peoples, everywhere. You will regret. You will fall in regret, just like me. The final destination is still here. When death approaches, you will realize that all prophecies are inevitable. I am the most horrific disaster to afflict our world. I am the most horrific disaster to afflict our world. I step forward, towards Amia, towards myself, towards fate itself. Then black arts weave into a sword, stabbing the Amia in front of me. Stabbing myself through the chest. Then I will kill you. Even if you are me, you are the Lord of Fiends. I once made the same choice as you. I thought that I was strong enough, powerful enough to unbind myself from fate's shackles. You can't do it. Amia, you can't do it. Really? Maybe. You may have tried once, you may have faced all sorts of bitterness and still fallen into the same abyss in the end. But I haven't. I have not walked on your so-called fated path. I will challenge you. I will challenge you in the King of Sarcus' name, Amia. If the end of it all was set in stone long ago by those prophecies you espouse, if the meaning of our lives are just to prove your inevitable conclusion, then why do we live? Why do we exist? The Patriot's lifelong struggle, Dr. Cutest's assiduous choices, the Doctor holding my hand and affirming our path. All this just to become a footnote in Fate's manuscript? I refuse to accept it.
Amia, this will only beget pain. It will be an endless torture.
Myriad souls of Casdell, I ask you, did Theresa break out of her own fate? Even Theresa's, did he face you head on? Theresa, she handed over this crown to me for this. She didn't believe in the predestined tragic future that you paint.
So she is suffering now, listening to our voices with nary a rest. If only to relieve her burden, King of Sarcus, you must.
No! Theresa doesn't need any rescue. the King of Sarcus will no longer be a symbol of conquest and revenge. Maybe. That's why I must be the one.
How arrogant. How conceited.
No, it is only because I have worn this black crown that I brandish my sword at you.
You cannot escape fate's choice. The further you run from it, the faster it will come.
I won't run. I'll wait here for it. Fate. When your plans have dissipated, when your taunts fall short, I'll show you all. We, the peoples of this great land, can choose an ending for ourselves. I find the strength in my body. They call this power the King of Sarcus. But I know it was never about the king. This power was never meant for conquest, for subjugation. Its true objective is survival. The battlefield abruptly shatters. I hear a distant sigh. It carries no anger, no fear, no sorrow. Just a sigh. Was this a reply from the myriad souls, or just myself sleep-talking as I awake from a nightmare?
Amia, you're awake.
A familiar voice beckons. I feel those lingering emotions dissipate.
Do you feel alright? Any pain? You got hit by Confessarius witchcraft. Did you have a nightmare?
The doctor's voice always calms me down. I'm fine now. I lift my hand, the black arts sparking out as usual. The King of Sarcus. Doctor, this power is not a curse. It's not forbidden witchcraft that brings disaster. Theresa passed it to me so that we can use it to find our own path.
I trust you.
The doctor holds my hands tightly.
You're up, Amia. I'm sorry.
It's fine, Logos. Whether or not I was caught by Confessarius witchcraft, I would have to face this self-reflection eventually. In my dream, those voices proclaim the prophecy again.
Prophecy?
Yes, the prophecy the Patriot spoke of before he died.
No matter what voices they were, it's all a trick of the Confessari. Don't worry about it.
No. Was that a method of Confessarius torture, or are the myriad souls still deeply connected to my heart? Or maybe I still hold on to that scary prophecy deep down inside? It's not important though. I already rejected their offer. Again.
Good. I still want to get you a full checkup from Dr. Kaltze though. Your rings...
I do. Logos, where are we though? The sound of footsteps approaches. It's some Sarcus mercenaries. They're moving a crystal shard the color of blood onto a truck not far away. I recognize the girl leading them, Paprika. The doctor said she freed the workers in Highbury.
Logos requisitioned the use of this Sarcus transport squad's vehicle in the name of the Lord of Banshees. We need to escape the Confessari pursuit. Yesterday, Closure's drones found us. W's safe house that they were staying at are also attacked by the Confessari, and Nightingale was captured.
The Confessari.
We let our guard down against the Sarcus squad named after the confessari. Therese's plan also allowed them freedom of movement. However, they finally left the shadows they've been hiding in. Doctor, Paprika and the others are loading the originium samples you need on board, but there are still wary of us. Right now, they're only listening to me because they fear me. I might have to resort to threatening them with real curses soon. 5 batches of crystals should be enough. Amia has recovered as well. Then, we will head to Brentwood next, and meet up with Dr. Cutest.
Doctor, you look uneasy. What's worrying you?
I fear that Therese's isn't looking for any sort of vampire witchcraft device. What he wants is an even more unsettling power. Alright, so how many times will Lamia have to tell the myriad souls no? Good job, Amia. Good job resisting and putting your foot down and telling them that you are pursuing your own goal. Good stuff. But damn, they're being very persistent at this point. Anyway, we're moving on to stage 11. Titled A Town Amidst the Clouds. This place is enshrouded in false peace. Only one scene here, taking place before the battle stage, so let's begin. Notice. Number 1. Residents must comply with all regulations previously announced by the Military Commission. Number 2. Must comply with all work safety regulations. No time off allowed whatsoever. Number 3. Leaving your place of residence after 7 PM is strictly forbidden. Number 4. Mourning Mayor West in any manner is forbidden. Acting Mayor of Brentwood, Freda West.
I still don't have the seed. Can we still have those flowers ready by next year's harvest festival? I don't want my family's tradition to die in my hands. Come in.
Good morning, Magdalene.
Were you drunk last night?
Old Hank and I had a teeny tiny taste of the mayor's leftover booze. I'll let you in on a little secret. Mr. West had more than just fine wine brewing in for the celebrations. He was hiding a whole cannon behind our backs. The last time I saw one of those, it was the harvest when we were 10. I'll definitely invite you to a dance during the gun salute at next year's festival, Magdalene.
You're still really drunk, you know that?
I just hope that the flash powder hasn't gotten wet with all the barrels it was stored alongside. It'll only be a few more days. Once we're finished with that bloody thing the devils are having us build, they'll leave us alone. Then, when the time comes for next year's Harvest Festival, we'll get to celebrate the return of our normal lives all night long. When did you start hanging clocks in the greenhouse?
It's a long time past the time everyone's supposed to gather to head to work. Are you skipping off work today?
I won't notice a single man missing. I'm getting ready to head there. I know there's a back alley behind your greenhouse that leads straight to the worksite. Strange, though, them devils don't often loiter around here. The door's over there. I'll head there right now. See ya!
Wait, Will, don't open the door. Watch out!
Ow! Magdalene, did a flower pot crack my skull open?
Nothing happened. You're still drunk. The door outside is that way. I'll take you to the work site.
Right, I gotta remember to bring a bouquet to mourn Mr. West. It's a shame he didn't get to taste the wine he was brewing.
You didn't see the notice they put up today?
What notice?
Never mind. Take this flower. Brentwood has visibly deteriorated over the last few years. Although Mayor West wrecked his brains to try to turn things around, his ideas all yielded little results. Though caravans was visited in droves, none of them are willing to visit this forgotten town anymore. Everyone has been suffocating thanks to the ever-approaching war and the worsening situation in Londinium. 2 weeks ago, all of us gathered at the top of the town hall tower and saw a catastrophe cloud rising into the sky in Londinium's direction. Mayor West hesitated for half a day and gave up on sending a team to Londinium to find out what happened. There were only the rumors that war has broken out. It was only when the Sarcus came that the town regained its former vigor. They hired all of us with food. Everyone scrambled to line up for work day after day and gave everything their all in exchange of the limited food there is. We're all very industrious. In a few short weeks, the thing that they had us built is already starting to take shape. With the promise of survival dangling in front of us, we strained to forget how Mr. West died. If there is no one working the farms anymore, then what is the harvest festival that everyone is so looking forward to actually celebrating? Will, they're coming this way. Wake up!
Damn it, Will. I told you not to drink so much.
Sir, this man broke the rules. I'll be taking him to confinement to reflect on what he's done.
Looks like you enjoyed the power we've granted you, feline.
I just don't want anyone to break the rules we agreed on.
I can tell you're trying to protect him. Childish tricks. You'd best remember how your unlucky father died. His Highness is willing to overlook your disrespectful attitude before. That alone is your greatest reward. What we need now are honest workers. It's that simple. It won't happen again, sir, I swear. That's right, your legs should be shaking. Don't worry, you'll live. If you were dead, I'd have to find another to do your job.
I'll keep an eye on him. I promise there will be no delays.
Better not be. I don't care who picks up his slack, as long as one of you does. Not you. Now get back to your posts. I don't want the boss to chew me out. Scram.
Magdalene, please. Let me take care of him. He'll sober up in confinement.
I'm sober. I wouldn't dare fall behind on the schedule they set.
Wait till you can stand before you act tough. If you pass out at the worksite, I won't be able to save you. I shouldn't have given you the keys to the warehouse yesterday. Are these flowers for me?
Of course not. I got them to more Mr. West.
You didn't see the notice I put out today. He had too much to drink yesterday, so...
Sorry, Freda, I was only going to have a little sip. But that bastard Tom started spouting nonsense. He says you're a haughty traitor riding the devil's coattails. We're managing to get by these days only because you kowtowed to the devils. Only Hank and I were proper pissed off. We challenged the bastard to some drinking games, but we got careless and didn't stop. What I think doesn't matter. Never mind, give me the flowers. Let me thank you in my father's place.
Maybe we could hold a ceremony for Mr. West in the warehouse he was secretly making his preparations in. The Sarcus rarely go there.
Thanks, Magdalene. My guess is that you got the flowers. He's not smart enough. But you should go back. I just heard a group of outsiders appeared in the village a few days ago. Not the Duke's army, but they are armed. The Sarcus are afraid someone in town could help them. They'll start today's search ahead of schedule.
So early?
What is she running that fast for? Is she in a rush? For your own good, I suggest you stop bothering her so much. She has her own troubles to take care of. Now go. Sober up in confinement. My man saw you go to the worksite, gardener. Do not exhaust my trust in you.
How can I get rid of him? I hope he hasn't found anything.
You hung up the clock I gave you. Very good. That'll help you to remember your work hours and not to leave your post.
He's got mud on his hands. Did he turn my daisy soil?
I didn't give my subordinates permission to muck around with your greenhouse. You might as well just search out in the open. No need to be so cautious about me. Or are you trying to look for these?
Yeah, good thing it's just those seeds.
These seeds are not on my list of approved transactions. I don't care how you got your hands on these, but I suggest you knock it off with these stupid ideas. From today onwards, we'll deal with any suspicious individuals directly. Why am I even telling you this? Anyway, you'd better stay in line. Don't do anything stupid.
It's so quiet. It's eerie. Should I turn around and look?
I like the flowers you're growing, these roses. We don't have them in Kasdal. There's a battle. I need to leave town, and I won't be back so often anymore. You must be happy about that. Send these flowers to my tent later, gardener. This coin is my down payment. One last word of advice. Don't go near the worksite at the center of the town.
These scary men are interested in such fragile flowers? Oh, my roses! The white petals are stained in red blood. Was his hand pricked by the rose's thorns? He didn't feel any pain? Weird Sarcus. Oh no. It's safe now. Are all of you okay?
Phew. Free at last. It's such a tight squeeze inside.
Easy, you were just about ready to fight him, weren't you?
I know we can't bring trouble so soon.
Sorry, Rock. And,
I'm Feist.
I didn't expect them to start looking so early today. I heard there's a group of armed militians outside town. The two of them look at each other. We're sorry for all the trouble. Magdalene, right? Things here are a little not like what we expected. The situation is a bit awful, I suppose, but there's a surface level peace maintained here. Do the villagers serve the Sarcus?
Rock.
Although the face of the young man named Feist shows many signs of battle veteran, I can nonetheless see a fearless courage in his clear eyes. Rock seems to be his partner. I can imagine the two of them fighting alongside each other. It's been some time since I saw such zealous vigor in this town. It's not a problem. It's true. Our town is working for the Sarcus. Normal for Rock to be having doubts. You told me you were refugees. I'm guessing you must be more than refugees who escaped Londinium seeking supplies.
Sorry about that. We didn't tell you who we were before. We're with the Londinium Citizens Self-Salvation Corps.
Londinium? But what are you doing here?
It's a long story, and we'll have time to talk more about that. But first, could you tell me what the Sarcus are building in the center of the town? Carl, our consultant is worried about what's being built here. Feist and I have tried getting closer to the area, but the Sarcus are guarding the place very tightly. We could only see a giant blood-red crystal. It's much bigger than all the other ones that we've seen in both scale and complexity.
You mean the thing we are building here isn't unique to this place?
We believe this is one of the Sarcus's combat arts circles, but Brentwood's might be more special than that. Our forces are planning to strike this place. Our fighters are not in the best of shape right now, but with your help...
War. Ever since the news came that the Dukes have made it here, more and more of the town's residents have been talking about that ever-distant war. But they only ever let their imaginations run wild lamentably away from the Sarcus's view. They only ever boast in their drunkenness that the Duke's fleets will follow the routes they whimsically draw on maps to save Victoria. They fantasize about how the Sarcus will run away from Brentwood as they shout their rallying cries. But what exactly is war? I can't see any of it whatsoever in this quiet, Sarcus-controlled town. I don't want to ever see it either. The Sarcus are going to be leaving very soon. There is nothing that they could want in our town. Feist, Rock, you two should be on your way soon. It's dangerous for outsiders to be here. You can take the alley behind the greenhouse. The Sarcus don't patrol that area.
Even though Brentwood isn't at the forefront of the conflict between the Dukes and the Sarcus, the situation here isn't normal at all. Whether it's the change in the movement of supplies to Brentwood for the last couple of years, the almost intentionally ignored geographical location, and the enormous arts node you're building. Where are these Originium crystals from? How did the Sarcus come up with such a detailed plan in such a short time? This is a little embarrassing, but we still don't know what exactly the Sarcus are trying to do. That's not a good thing. Magdalene, if you could help persuade everyone to help, we still have a chance to stop them. Even if it's just helping us figure out the situation of the Sarcus's garrison station here.
You can stop hiding.
Hello, Self-Salvation Corps.
Feist, the evacuation route we were planning to take is still open.
Let's see how this plays out. We can't give up this chance to get them out, to get them on our side. If Dr. Kaltzit's right, what the military commission is planning here has to be extremely important.
Relax, I was just passing by and thought I would thank my friend.
Magdalene, Will said he forgot to say thank you and asked me to thank you in his stead.
He's always had those unrealistic fantasies ever since he was a kid. This doesn't feel quite right. It sounds like Will is the drunkard who almost opened the cupboard we were hiding in.
Shh, let's not get into that.
Freda, I'll leave these two Salvation Corps members to you. Do you need me to fill you in on their situation?
No need. I heard everything outside. Freda, the mayor of Brentwood was my father. He's dead. Fortunately, he's the only one who lost his life in this town so far. But I'm afraid I have to turn down your request.
I respect your bravery to stand up against them, but I can't put all of the town's residents at risk. My father had the same idea, and he's already paid the price. Resistance would only bring unnecessary sacrifice. The Sarcus camp is not far from the main entrance of the greenhouse. For your safety, please leave quickly. Brentwood will take care of its own. Peace doesn't come so easy, and I'm afraid of breaking it once more.
Freda, don't you see the problem in that?
They made me a promise. They'll leave as soon as their plan is completed.
You trust the Sarcus's word?
I have to. Rock, let's go.
Feist!
Mayor Freda, we'll be working in the surrounding area. We're waiting to rendezvous with our other teams. If you need any assistance or if things take a turn for the worse, you can find us there. That's our promise. Self-Salvation Corps. Magdalene, No, never mind.
Freda and I don't actually know each other too well. She has always been fairly asocial. If it wasn't for Will making all kinds of excuses to drag Freda here to buy flowers from me, I likely would never have even known her. Perhaps, like everyone else, I would have seen her as a crazed lunatic who's slaving away for the Sarcus and dragged everyone else into that along with her. I could even have forgotten that she's the same age as me. You did save us all after Mr. West gave his life.
I traded everyone's freedom for it. Someone has to be the villain. I'm too afraid to give up, even if it only buys everyone a small chance to survive. At the very least, the Sarcus' leader here, the officer who comes to your greenhouse, doesn't kill for fun like the Sarcus in the rumors, and so I'd rather keep things the way they are. To be honest, I don't know what I should believe myself. Magdalene, I'm really jealous of you. Please forgive Will's stubbornness. He's just being childish.
I've never been mad at him.
Have you received the seeds I secretly bought for next year's celebration?
There were some setbacks, but I have them.
That's good. Hopefully they will lead to the most beautiful flowers by the time the next year's harvest festival is here. Father planned for this festival for a long time, and I don't want to see his efforts go to waste. Please help me with this.
It's my pleasure.
Well then, we finally got introduced to the town of Brentwood, where everything seems to flow into, plus Vandella, or Magdalene, finally appears in the story. And yeah, cool stuff, interesting stuff, concerning stuff, let's put it that way. But anyway, we have one new enemy to introduce here before we move on, and that is the Sarcus Boneguard Fluxcaster Captain. A mouthful of a title. Anyway, a Sarcus caster responsible for guarding the Faramute skeleton, their nature warped due to perpetually drifting through space-time along with it, to the point that their very existence has become tenuous. In times of emergency, they will call upon the Faramute power to hide within the turbulent folds of space-time before reappearing at a more opportune time to deliver a fatal blow. Goody! They have some powers. Anyway, we're moving on to stage number 12, titled Shattered Greenhouse, and it says, in the midst of a war, how luxurious a wisp of hope harbored by a tiny greenhouse is. Funnily enough, this is also a before scene, before the battle stage. Usually it's a, you know, if they split them up, it's a before on the previous one and after on the next one, but this time around we get two befores in a row. But anyway, let us begin.
I'm a fortunate woman. When my grandfather passed away in the sunlight that shone upon the greenhouse, with his favorite flowers in his hands, he had already arranged everything for me. I was going to live the rest of my life as both of us had hoped, in this town, in this tiny little greenhouse. That is, until they arrived. I was incredibly fearful that my life would be ruined. But that Sarcus gave the order, and so my job remained here in the greenhouse. I am still the town's gardener. It has been a week since the 2 Self-Salvation Corps people arrived. Likewise, it has been a week since I last saw the Sarcus officer who would turn the soil for the daisies in town.
Good afternoon, Magdalene. Your flowers look just as beautiful as always.
Thanks, Hank. Have you seen Will? I'm looking for him. He ordered some flowers the first thing this morning, but he still hasn't come to pick them up, even though it's afternoon already.
Bill ordered flowers. Oh, they must be for Freda's birthday. He ditched right around noon. Most likely he left to prepare whatever surprise he has in store for Freda. Don't worry, he'll remember once Freda gives him a scolding.
Everyone seems very exhausted. I've been hearing noises around the worksite at night. Has no one been getting any proper rest?
The devils are apparently trying to show off for somebody. They're working us to the bone like there is no tomorrow, but I haven't seen any bigwigs visiting either. You're really lucky that you were given a decent job and don't have to suffer like us. I didn't expect us to finish building this in a month just by gritting our teeth a little. It's like a miracle. I'm willing to bet that before, the Londinium lords would have hauled all this into their museums.
I thought you used to hate this job.
Magdalene, the world has changed. You should try to get on the Sarcus' officer's good side too. You have nothing to lose, pet.
Thanks for the advice. I'll think it over. Hank's suggestions are always so sincere, but his idea has left me terrified. At night, whenever I can't sleep, I'm kept awake by the noise coming from the square, as though there's an iron hammer striking my head repeatedly. And occasionally, I'm jolted awake from my dreams by those strange rocks. I can't help but think back on the worries of those 2 Self-Salvation Corps people a week ago. Perhaps the Sarcus changed more than just the way we live.
Again? How come the cannon fire is sounding closer lately? I heard there's more than one group of folks who want to take over Brentwood. If they come to blows, it'll be a hot mess here again. What's wrong with the way things are now? With everyone getting along. I hope this isn't going to delay our work.
Magdalene, finally! The devil who keeps visiting you brought others to wreck your greenhouse! What?
Are you done? I said it's impossible for those Victorians to be hiding here.
That's not for you to say. This house is clearly useless, and it's only still standing because you insisted on keeping it around. Who knows what you might be hiding here? We're all fighting to the death for His Highness, but thanks to you and how weak you are, we've been letting chances after chances go to waste.
Watch your tone, mercenary. I am still a member of the Royal Court and the commander here.
Relax. If I find any guerrillas hiding here, I'll cut off you immediately and apply to join the Royal Court on the achievement. Now lose that pacifism of yours. I'm getting sick of it. Their actions are a serious interruption to the Military Commission's plans for this place.
If it wasn't for your setbacks on the front lines fueling their ferocity, the boss wouldn't be having us rush everything to finish our job so quick. So you might as well shut up.
My greenhouse! No.
Shh. Don't move. Just watch quietly.
The black soil buried all of them. The daisies, roses, bluebells. Their rhizomes were all mercilessly crushed under their feet. The new buds growing toward the sunlight too. Freda asked me to plant these seeds for the festival. She was really looking forward to it. She said it would be the biggest harvest festival in 10 years. All of us were looking forward to it. But now the new buds are no more.
Relax, your fingers are bleeding. Don't try to break free. I'm saving your life, gardener. Let her come. Better that she wants to fight. That way I can just kill her and finish this right here and now. You're too soft on this town, Commander. Glaring won't kill me. What a drag. Flowers mean nothing to this war. Armories, explosives, incinerators. That's what you really need.
The very last new buds here are crushed. Grandfather, we won't have fresh flowers during next year's harvest festival. Not anymore. Let me go. I'm calm. Have you found what you were looking for?
Count yourself lucky that I didn't.
Then please leave.
I thought you'd have a bit more guts than those idiots at the work site. Victorians. Don't move. Your fingers need bandaging. I couldn't stop them. I had some setbacks on the front lines. Soon there will be another here to take over for me. He has other plans for the town. There's an opening in the cement construction about 200 meters to the west of the town's entrance. The guerrillas nearby blew it open. They won't give this chance up, so we need to fix this opening by 5 AM tomorrow.
What a weird Sarcus. Why is he telling me this?
The roses can still be saved. You must find a way to plant these poor things again. If that opening piques your interests, take these roses and cut through our camp tonight. It's the safest route. If somebody stops you, tell them you're delivering an order for me. Of course, I'd be very happy if you could stop by and put a rose in front of my tent. Some things should never be ruined, gardener.
My name is not Gardener, Sarcus. It's Magdalene.
Then let us reintroduce ourselves. My name is Shovel.
Shovel?
Remember, Magdalene, time waits for no one.
What we are planting for the harvest festival represents hope. That's what my grandfather taught me. The flowers that line the streets during the festival each year are entrusted with everyone's simple wish for a beautiful harvest. There is nowhere else that needs hope now more than Brentwood. I can't leave. His tent should be in this direction. I have to take the flowers there as soon as I can. What's that? What are you doing here?
Magdalene, what are you doing with those flowers past curfew? That's the direction of the barracks you're going. Hurry up and leave.
It's fine. I just wanted to come outside for a walk. Right, I heard from Hank that it's your birthday today. Happy birthday. Will ordered some flowers for you, but he never came for them. If you see Will, please remind him. Freda? Why aren't you saying anything?
Come with me. It's not safe here.
Huh. These flowers.
Will left them here to mourn my father. I've been keeping the warehouse locked, only occasionally lending him the key when he wants a sip of alcohol.
The cannons here. Did Mr. West prepare them for the festival? How magnificent.
It's all my fault.
Did something happen to him?
He was stopped by the devils at the Sarcus barracks just now. He came to me earlier than usual for some sort of surprise, but when he found out I was going to the barracks to report on our progress, and he said he'd escort me there.
But the Sarcus shouldn't have any reason to stop Will. They've never done that before.
I don't know. I'm scared. I didn't have it in me to say no when they asked to take Will in. I've been following their every word. I gave them everything they asked for. Why did they want to take him in? Why... did I do something wrong?
Maybe they only had a few questions for him. Look on the bright side. They still need him to work for them.
Right. That bloody thing isn't complete just yet. I'm sure they will still need Will. I have to stay here at the barracks' entrance and wait for him.
Freda smiles. But I'm not happy about this one bit. I know I'm lying to her. I'm sure she knows that as well. However, this is all that we can do right now. These days, we all need a tiny shred of hope to poison our minds. Hope. Freda, did you see that? There's a strange creature climbing on the house's beam. I don't know if it's a creature is exactly the right word for it. It's staring at me with its black body. The terrifying being's feeble limbs are no longer attached to the beams. Finally, it lands on the flowers used to mourn the mayor before it dissipates, turning into a drop of blood and dyeing the flower buds.
Was it looking at us just now?
Yes, it was looking right at us.
Well, that is a yikes ending. Anyway, we have one new enemy to introduce here before we move on, which is the Sarcus Airbear Annihilator, an elite long-range bombardier of the Sarcus Royal Court that has received the blessing of the Sanguine Ark of Vampires. They do not aim at any particular target or tangible enemy. The only thing reflecting in their eyes is ruination itself. Goody, he crazy. After that we move on to stage 13, and moving on to stage 13 will also change our background. Well, this looks like something. Anyway, 13 does not have a cutscene, so we will do the usual here, titled in Karka's bones. Before us are the Sarcus elite troops guarding the Therenmut skeleton. We must defeat them to continue forward. Enemy-wise, we have one new guy here, which is the Sarcus Boneguard Flare, a professional arms master responsible for protecting the Therenmut skeleton, carefully selected by the military commission. They use witchcraft to connect themselves with the Therenmut's nerves, allowing the entire skeleton to become their weapon. And yep, that is even incorporated into his design. The little tendrils here on his face that are hanging off there, that is pretty much colored after the nerves, and yep, he'd definitely be wielding some bony looking weapons in the fight. And damn, he can hit. Anyway, with that said, we move on to stage 14, titled Fireworks, Seer Scarlet. And the fireworks no longer represent celebration, and we bid farewell to our former lives. We do have one new enemy here to add before we head in, and that is this guy who is called the Sarcus Bloodwalker. I also call him Brentonfly. And it says, a special entity within the Crimson Court, ensuring that no touch of the Crimson's dominion over blood goes to waste. They collect the essence condensed from the blood spilled on the battlefield and wait for it to be given form again through the ancient rituals of the vampires. And if anybody is questioning right now, why Brentonfly? What is that a reference to? If you're into horror or horror stuff in general, and especially sci-fi as well, and bonus points if it's old movies, go and watch The Fly. That is a movie. That is a movie that I watched as a child, and funnily enough, didn't scar me for life. But then again, I guess I consume horror shit in a different manner than most people. But anyway, body horror, crazy shit, many practical effects, looks disgusting as hell, and good stuff. Enjoy it. If you have never seen The Fly, maybe you should. Anyway, let's proceed into our story for this stage.
Fear. It's a tolerance that we are naturally born with, just like how plants are able to adapt to soil that make havoc of their own rootstocks. To shatter our will, they'll need to spread a much great dosage of fear in Brentwood. Freda is the greatest testament. She is so fragile that you could break her simply by bumping into her, but she persisted among the crowd of terrifying men up until now. But I can tell that she needs someone to confide in and vent her fear. Will, he's not mature enough. It's not very likely he would understand how Freda feels. Perhaps I can help her?
You didn't bring my order to my tent, Magdalene. And you didn't leave Brentwood either. A pitiful decision.
He seems very feeble, even more so than yesterday. What happened?
Why didn't you leave?
This is my home. Do you have a new order for me? I can bring it to you along with the flowers last night.
You don't have to worry about those orders anymore. I'm here to say goodbye. I'm leaving soon to fight as part of the Naxir King's army.
Alright. Goodbye, if that's what you wanted to hear from me.
You're too naive, to the point of foolishness. Everything that I've tried to protect always courts its own destruction. Perhaps I've been wrong from the start.
I don't understand what you're saying, Shovel.
I used to be incredibly jealous of all of you. Victoria used to be the noblest and strongest nation there was. Naturally, you possessed many great things, and rightfully so. With the metallurgy you originated and the steam knights, you conquered another empire. With your mystifying art and rich academia, you attracted all of Terra's geniuses. Yet now you've halted your outward conquest. Now your rulers only indulge in parties and wine, only ever boasting about the medals on their chest. They crush their own glory, and they are destined to be replaced. You still have this wall clock. Time really flies. The town citizens must all have gone to the worksite.
What do you mean?
Your deaths are unavoidable, Magdalene. The Sanguinarch is an impatient man. That's why the ritual was pushed forward, and under that feline's leadership, the mission was indeed completed most marvelously. Everyone here will be the key to the ritual's activation. Of course, that includes you.
Ritual. Key.
He was stopped by the devils at the Sarcus barracks just now.
Freda, do you see that? The blood-colored worm is staring at me.
The entire town will be the key to the ritual's activation.
The key. My soul is trembling. I need to go find Freda. Let me go!
You mustn't leave this greenhouse. Wait a little longer, Magdalene. I'll be here with you. Until we bid each other farewell for the last time.
Why? The people of the town have never done anything against your wishes. Freda and everyone fulfilled each and every one of your requests.
His Highness decided to carry out this war, and your dukes responded. This outcome has nothing to do with us or you. All we need to do is follow our orders.
Then let me warn the people at the worksite. Just pretend you don't know anything like before, please.
I serve His Highness, and I won't allow you to quash this ritual. Not unless you make it past me, Magdalene. Can you do it, Gardener?
He grabs me by the hand, but places it on a pair of scissors in his hand. There seems to be a ray of longing burning in the depths of his ashen eyes. What is this prideful man longing for? Release? Pity? Or is it perhaps that word that I can't bring myself to touch? I notice that even though the two of us have spent a very long time together in this greenhouse, I've never actually truly understood this man. But I have to leave now. Just as he said, there is no time. I'm sorry. I can't stand by and watch anymore.
Magdalene? Where are you going? Why the rush? Is that blood on your clothes? Are you okay?
It's fine. I cut my finger while I was pruning branches. Hank, where's Freda?
Freda? After she came back from the barracks by herself this morning, she went straight to the Sarcus officers. She seemed rather out of it, and she kept saying sorry no matter who she ran into. Did something happen?
Everyone has to leave this place right now. And the farther, the better.
What's with all of you being so bloody barmy today?
There's no time to explain. I need to tell everyone else.
But we're almost finished. Besides, if we all ditch work, what are we supposed to do when those officers find us? Fireworks? Where? Who blew that wall open? Is that Freda?
The last time I saw such beautiful fireworks, it was the Harvest Festival when I was 10. Grandfather put me on his shoulders and walked through the crowd. Everyone looked up to the fireworks blooming in the sky, astonished. Everyone kept quiet, only for the silence to be torn apart by the explosive sound wave a moment later. This is just like that. Freda set off the cannon Mr. West was hiding for the Harvest Festival. There are countless Sarcus pulling her from behind. Drenched in blood, she's shouting something, but whatever she's trying to say, it's buried by the cannon's loud roar. She is buried by the wave of Sarcus gushing toward her and torn apart. A flame burning bright in the middle of the day. The cannons keep roaring. A grand ceremony has come to Brentwood ahead of schedule.
What just happened? Is that an earthquake?
Run!
You're bleeding. Bollocks, stay away! Those disgusting monsters are dripping from your body!
What are the Sarcus trying to do? Hank! Hank! You can't close your eyes! I'm starting to feel very tired too. So sleepy. I can feel my own blood fluttering out of my body before disappearing into the earth.
Magdalene, hang in there. Captain, I got her. Everyone, hold on to the ropes as tight as you can. Do not touch the ground no matter what. Hurry and help them. Magdalene, you can't fall asleep.
Rock.
This guy's so heavy.
Feist, the Self-Salvation Corps. Why are you...
We figured something went wrong when we saw fireworks in the middle of the day. They sealed the wall we blew open yesterday, but that cannon gave us a new path. Hold on to Rock's hand, Magdalene. Our forces don't have enough manpower, and we are bringing everyone to evacuate as soon as we can.
Whoa, Feist, your zipline's even faster after those modifications you made. Right, where is Mayor Freda? We haven't been able to locate her. Freda is...
Drat! Why did my zipline start shaking?
What about that weak garrison commander? Where is he hiding this time? Well, no matter. I'll take over command. I can feel it. My blood is boiling. No need to contact Major Ulshula's squad. We can take care of these laughable Victorians by ourselves. Kill them all.
The garrison here is mounting a counterattack. They're putting more pressure on us than any Sarcus we've faced before. How much explosive does Old Wise still have outside? Can he make it here in time to back us up?
Probably not happening. Not counting the members who laid the ziplines for us, we barely had any fighting men to begin with.
Start the crawlers. We need to break through by force. Rock, watch out! Your zipline!
That hurts. Magdalene, are you okay? Can you walk?
These disgusting things.
On the surrounding earth, a large number of red worms keeps gushing onto the surface. They chew on every soul they can reach and suck their blood.
This is the prince's blessing. It's the kindness the royal court left for us. In our bodies, our purest blood is now awakening. Let's waste no time on these Victorians.
Rock, you should go. The feline girl named Rock takes out a dagger from her waist and stuffs it into my hand. A large group of Sarcus are closing in on our location.
Magdalene, get ready to fight. It's not that hard. None of us had any combat experience before. Take a deep breath and make up your mind.
Make up my mind. Right. Just like that Sarcus officer who collapsed among the fluttering petals. I grip the dagger tight. A shot rings out.
Artillery fire? I thought we used up all our explosives. Quick, Rock, Magdalene, now! We were contacted by a few old friends. They brought a whole backup unit. They even have an identification code.
Identification code? Is it the military? Victorian, alright. The military is responding to the war. They must be a group of ice-cold men. They're here to kill the Sarcus and save the Victorians. The
Exemplars!
A thick, roiling cloud of dust is kicked up into the air, all over within view. Again and again, bright flashes of light suddenly erupts across the ground. What is that? A tank? I can hear a firm, persevering female voice coming from Feist's communicator.
This is Tank Fire Team Horn. All units, make sure to stay clear of my blast zone. Grenade loaded. Firing second barrage. Opening created. Cover the Self-Salvation Corps and all citizens. Horn, continue laying suppressive fire. Those art circles. We need to find a way to stop this bloody witchcraft. Lena, have someone else drive. I want to join the ground combat.
Hannah, eyes on the road.
Alright. We got the tank as close to the core of the art circle as possible. I'll take care of that thing.
Vina!
You have other tasks. All units, follow regular deployment formation. Morgan, Hannah, follow Horn's orders and cut open a path for the tank. Lieutenant Shearer, Dagda, Delphine, take command of the ground forces and form a defensive line. Stop the Sanguinarch's worms. I'm on it.
Acknowledged.
Acknowledged. Mr. Misery, I'll leave the commander of the enemy forces to you.
All they need to do is boldly execute our plan.
Feist, it's been a while. We shall exchange pleasantries later. I need the Self-Salvation Corps to help set up a zipline that will take me above the art circle. On it. We have no time to lose. Let us take care of the strange art circle first. I will leave my rear to all of you.
While I was still trying to identify the squad that suddenly came to our aid, the blonde feline has already ziplined to the center of the battlefield. She descended from the sky and bombastically made her way into the center of the art circle blood-red pillar of light. The sound of rocks blasted apart ring throughout the entire battlefield. Thump. I can see each and every swing of her large sledgehammer in that red light. Forward. The feline's voice ignites the tank's engine. I see a warrior holding a sledgehammer up high, leading the Victorians to retake our land.
Look!
Look how easily a Victorian tank fire can blast that thing apart! We said as much long ago. The bloody devils are no match for Victoria's military! Crush them!
No, there are too many originium crystals in town. The mayor's office, the small town square, the library, those things we've been rebuilding day in and day out. We won't make it in time. Is it over? No. The pillar of red light rises from the building we built and intermingles with the festive fireworks. There is a blood-red color boiling in the dark abyss. The similarly red worms are reaching their antennae toward the sky.
The art circle has been damaged. The vampire's offspring have gone berserk. Seize this opportunity! Infantry units, stop advancing. Escort all citizens out of the art circle's range. Tank squad, follow me and push forward. Destroy the remaining originium crystals in the town and commence search and rescue.
Hell is invading my town. All while the formation's rumbling tank accelerates and blitzes in on the devils.
I mean, what do I even say about the cutscene that we just went through, right? How do you manage to go from dark for one character and their actions to absolutely depressing for the town and R.I.P. Freda? My god. Reading those lines for the first time and just hearing about what is happening to her in the background while fireworks are going off, and Magdalene is just doing her bit and narration there. Oh, yeah. I think I needed a minute or two there to compose myself originally, and then swap everything into, well, this is epic all of a sudden. Holy shit, stuff is happening. The exemplars are here and everybody else. And then, oh, apocalypse. Cool. One thing I will say, however, props to the dev team to actually continuously putting in new effects into certain moments, because they do need to do that more for certain scenes, because that just elevates the moments. That flash of red and then the symbol appearing around the city and everything. Oh, yes! That looked amazing, but was terrifying to think about what the hell is happening in the city. But anyway, more of that, please. But yeah, we continue on to our final stage for today, which is number 15. Before we go in, we have one new enemy to add, which is the Sarcus Bone Guard Torturer. And it says, an elite arms master responsible for protecting the Faramut's skeleton, carefully selected by the most senior members of the military commission. The degree of their fusion with the Faramut's nerves defies common understanding, with their ancient witchcraft drilled deep into their bodies. And before I head you guys into the scene, I will just say this. This stage? And on adverse difficulty? Took a bit. Anyway, was interesting, but took a bit. But anyway, our stage is titled Briefly Gathered. Pull our information. Communicate our achievements. We are about to part ways once more.
I see gravel kicked up by tires, pounding the glass. Similar sights keep retreating from the car window. Muddy earth, dried bloodstains, shell craters we carefully steer around. War flows persistently, like an oil slick satellite. The atmosphere outside the car is tense. Everyone remains silent. The driver is focused on driving. Paprika sits beside her, occasionally turning her head to cast a worried glance. In the cab, the miner casually oils his weapon. The shopkeep from Castle mimics him. He cries out suddenly. Looks like he cut his palm. Castle has grocery stores. Children gazing longingly at candy as they lean against the counter. Old folks complaining about the changing price of salt. It makes sense. But I never really thought about those sights before. For me, Castle is just a distant memory. When I was little, Babel briefly stopped near Castle. I only remember it from a distance, a sight like a steel monster crawling through the wastes, leaving debris and thick smoke in its wake. Theresa held my hand and told me that was her home. I remember at the time I didn't know what the look on her face meant. Much later, I talked to the operators about Casdell. Mudrock called it a barren land of houses stacked on top of each other. Stormeye talked about an eternal furnace and crystal clusters on the city walls. She laughed an icy laugh and said, "If I were a bunny like you, I'd steer clear of the place." Casdell feels like a vague symbol, representing all kinds of things. Pain, hatred, oppression, slaughter. I know these are all true, objectively, but they are not everything that is Casdell. Setting all that aside, I know it's the place where Theresa sacrificed everything. Even Theresa is the mastermind behind this war, grew up there. What does the Casdell they envision look like? Logos quietly wipes his bone pen. On the other side, I see the doctor turning to look out the window. What's out there? I tug on the doctor's sleeve.
And now very quickly, for anybody who might not be able to pay attention to the screen or is an audio listener only, there is a text box on the screen to be selected. Not for the doctor, but for Amia.
Doctor, when the war is over, I want to visit Casdell again.
Stop the car. There's something strange up ahead. All units, prepare for battle.
What is that? In the distance, the town of Brentwood is already coming into view. A crimson light rises from the center of the town, staining the surrounding land. The blood-covered veil gently envelops all living things.
This feeling, it's the same one that came when we were inspecting those art circles. Banshee, your lordship, what is this?
When the war started, no one expected the land to be drenched in so much blood so quickly. Modern warfare, is it? Huh. I'm afraid the vampire has all the prerequisites he needs for the ritual to fall into place. The crystals on the other battlefields were just nodes resonating with the ritual. All this time, I've been looking for its center. Brentwood, this little town, has a special place in the vampire's wicked design.
Can you handle it, Logos?
This is an ancient royal court method, and they have completed the preparations for it. I need time.
We haven't exposed our position yet, so we might be able to buy some time. But, wait! What's that? Fire? There's a firefight in the town there, but who is it?
Looks like they beat us here. A rather choppy meeting.
The doctor looks calm. Right, after all we've been through, we finally get to stand shoulder to shoulder with our friends again.
Lord Banshee, what are you going to do? You'll take care of the enemy, won't you? This power, it's a blessing from His Highness the Prince of Blood, is it? The Sanguinarch, he's blessed the Sarcus bloodline.
The Ursin miner swings his weapon, and a sharp whistling sound rings out. He looks a little frightened of his own strike, almost losing his grip on the weapon. The driver and the shopkeep gather around him, investigating his new strength. Paprika moves a few steps toward me. Lord Banshee, I also feel a bit strange. A little. Is it arm strength? Or my brains? I can't tell for sure, but I just feel kinda, It's a strengthening altar witchcraft. We've seen this before, but this one is on a larger scale, and it feels different. Logos, could this have any adverse...
Quite unexpected. It does not demand a price of us, at least not one drawn from our own bodies.
Then, why? Logos looks at the Sarcus girl.
Paprika, was it? What do you hope to use this power for?
Well...
The more skilled a Sarcus becomes in war, the more efficient he spills blood on the battlefield. Doesn't matter if it's his enemy's blood or his own. The ritual can continue. The Sanguinarch has prepared for this decisive battle, but Theresis' plan was just for this ritual. The art circle seems to have come under attack, and the vampiric creatures are going out of control.
Yes, a large colony of crimson worms is drilling out of the ground, rushing around in all directions. A good number of them seem to have caught our scent. Leave this to us, Logos. Please look into the ritual for us.
Amia, you and the doctor could accompany me.
I look at Paprika's team in the distance. Those Sarcus unaware of the danger here. Let's be quick.
Roger.
What are you going to do with us? What do you mean? I realized a while ago that, the ones who've been captured are us, right? I know the Royal Court guys pretty well, and you guys give off a totally different vibe. Your name is Amia, right? You and this doctor are in charge. I, think you're about the same age as me. And I can tell that Banshee is a pretty big deal. I can feel it. You can't fake that. But he's working for you? A few days ago I met a Cabernet lady who called herself a Sarcus. Is she with you too? Just who the heck are you guys? Do you intend to fight us, Paprika? I can feel that the girl is not hostile. I don't know. In the distance, the Sarcus let go of the sudden surge of power they're feeling for a moment and call out to Paprika.
Captain, how did the Banshee get away? What do we do now? The cracks in the earth are spreading toward us.
Why did they leave those prisoners behind? Do the big shots from the Royal Court trust us so much? Yeah. Be on your guard for threats from the direction. I'll keep an eye on these two. You may be stronger, but you still don't know war. Or I guess none of you are ready to fight this war. Yeah. After all this time, how could we not know? I get a little closer to her, but she seems to misunderstand my intent and retreats half a step. Then, as if making a difficult decision, She holds her ground in front of me. And at this point, I realize she's about the same height as I am. I'm the captain of the transport team. If you're going to do something to us, you have to start with me. They're just regular people who answered His Highness's call to arms across Terra. They don't even know what they're doing. They just transport the stuff General Manfred says to move. The instant they answer the call, the Victorians could cease to call them regular people. And that's got nothing to do with what they've actually done. I think of the fires in Auchterich, the factory pipes in Sudan, the street corners of Norpor. The survival of the Sarcus means the destruction of Victoria. The triumph of Victoria means the cleansing of the Sarcus. Those caught in the vortex no longer have the power to choose. Their units put under my control by the General. No matter what happens, I have to guarantee their safety. I swore as much to General Manfred. The General, huh? Then first things first, let's deal with these out-of-control bloodworms together. Tell your team to fall back. Don't take any chances. These creatures will suck dry any blood they can find. Doctor, stick close to me. I will use my power to clear the way for us. And for them. The fractured, surging land spreads out before us. The vampiric offspring bathe in blood, indulging in pain. Their bite is the touch of the sanguinarch himself. I raise my hand and close my eyes. I will stitch together this scarred land. I will hold the whispered fate of the myriad souls in my hands. A black rhombus, a black shadow. Black art surge from my fingertips. These twisted offspring deserve peace. Hey, little bunny. There's a faster way to seal those cracks, you know? W? Bang, bang, bang! It's a Sarcus mercenaries? Watch your footing, Yarnball. That's not a great place to stand. Huh?
My advice is to give that lunatic a wide berth when she's tossing bombs around. W is not the type a sweet little Sarcus baby ought to be close to.
Oh, Ines? Thanks, and Ami... Wait, over your head there, that's a... The Black Crown? You're the one General Manfred was talking about.
I heard Manfred picked up a kid. Guessed it was you. These Sarcas are under my control. You're their captain, right? Hey, let go of me! Who are you? What do you want?
We're on a mission for the military commission and all the big shots from the royal court.
Great. I'm here to enforce their discipline. Hey there, Amia. And of course, Doctor.
Hodder. What's wrong? Your first face-to-face meeting got you feeling disappointed. He did spend more time playing the antagonist than working our side. I'm not used to it either. No. Thank you for your help, Hodder. We can talk about the other stuff later. As you can see, this little town is quickly becoming a war zone.
Yeah, I do see. We've got some important intel to share with you. About this town and the lifeline hidden in its shadows.
There are two forces attacking the town's Sarcus garrison. One is the Self-Salvation Corps that Closure brought out from Londinium.
Looks like my safe house got trashed. I hope that old hag doesn't go peacefully.
The other is a force made up of soldiers who once fought for different dukes, along with some workers and refugees. It's a pretty disorganized group led by the Siege.
We reached the town to find the battle has mostly subsided. Logos has not yet returned from the town center. Seems dealing with the vampiric ritual is no simple task. I catch sight of Siege and Delphine, as well as Misery and Closure, along with fighters from the Self-Salvation Corps. When we left Londinium, we never expected this rendezvous in Brentwood would be so difficult for each of us. We make our way to a dilapidated house, but the atmosphere isn't the kind of exhaustion and relief you expect from a long-awaited reunion with friends. After giving me a quick physical, Dr. Kaltzit and the doctor take some crystal samples and move to talk privately. The room falls silent, and all eyes turn to Horderer, leaning against the wall alone. The rhythm of his sword sharpening is as steady as his breathing. Delphine recognizes Horderer with a glance. General Manfred of the Castle Military Commission's right-hand man, he was involved in the execution and assassination of many political figures throughout Londinium. Then Horderer tells us about the Faronmood brought to Londinium by the Sarcus.
Help! Huh? Shh! Quiet down.
We all turn to the Sarcus, who have not yet figured out the situation.
Where are we? Victorians? Sarcus mercenaries?
It's okay, I'm still here. The situation is, a little bit complicated, but you can trust me on this. You aren't actually gonna carry this deadweight around for the next phase of the plan, are you?
Who are you calling deadweight?
W, I promised Paprika no harm would come to them. Rhode Island, same as it ever was. Then let's have them stick with my marks. They've had it too easy for too long. Might as well bring some new blood in to have some fun. Hey you, blue-haired feline, what's on your mind? You've been staring at us for a while. Feel like killing us? Go ahead, draw your sword. Not gonna do it. If all you want is a Bolivarian standoff, I'm gonna pass. Me and my men ought to hit the road. You can stay here and stay mad. Oh, by the way, Ines, if you're gonna fight the Victorians, make sure you let me know ahead of time. Wouldn't wanna miss the show. Lady Delphine. Amia. You're alright. I'm glad. I was worried. Amia, I'm sorry. I'm willing to trust Rhode Island's processes of choosing collaboration partners. It's just, I mean, I'm an intelligence officer myself. It's not as if I've never heard of this Horderer gentleman. No, it's not just him. Even Misery and Ines. I can't help but think. I can't accept it. Not at the moment. No, maybe I can't ever accept it. But for now, as I said, I'll trust Venus' judgment. If this is what we have to do, then let's do it.
These scars won't be forgotten, nor should they be. The Sarcus wars have never ended, feline.
Cut the military commission supply lines, indeed. This has been our goal all along. In any case, this is a way to end the war quickly. And as for this Faronmood,
I know what you're thinking. Now that no base is safe, the skeleton can become our key to counterattacking Londinium. We can't take any of these armies head-on, and we can't work around the essentially unbeatable firepower of that airship. So, this elusive Faronmood is the best vehicle we could hope for, and at the same time it's a fortress, and a spear aimed right at the heart. In that case, if we succeed, it'll be thanks to the leaders of this counterattack, and not Sarcus mercenaries.
It seems we have no grounds on which to refuse cooperation.
However,
From a rational point of view, I understand that there are differences among the Sarcas, that the exemplars appears to function seamlessly with misery, but we're talking about individual friendship. We may be able to respect, trust, and even love a few select individuals, but now we stand before a war where all sides have blood-soaked hands. Given enough time, we may be able to determine one by one who has committed war crimes and who is innocent, but we do not have that time. We are at an impasse, Horderer. Our cooperation will not be so smooth.
And that is why we are here. Rhode Island will serve as a mediator between the two parties, such that we can end the suffering of the Victorian people that this war has wrought, and such that we can prevent the Sarcus of Castle from being dragged back into the abyss. We're not here to force shake hands and reconciliations. We can leave that to the end of this ridiculous war. Platitudes mean nothing. It's actions that will put an end to all of this.
This is all very Rhode Island indeed. I've heard Horderer has been in contact with Rhode Island in the past. You've mentioned the place where the Fairmoon is docked, among a large number of Sarcus garrisons.
But if we're talking about the plan rationally, a small number of elites would do better than...
Better than sending workers and street thugs to their deaths, yes? You can speak openly, I won't mind. But my boys won't miss a chance to strike at the Sarcas. Our armor can draw the garrison's fire.
I see Horderer smiling. It seems this is a site of siege that relaxes him, at least a bit. After all, he seems to be hiding something.
That'll do. Thanks.
Horderer expresses his gratitude, and the discussion comes to a close. Sarcus mercenary, Horderer. After reuniting with W in Chernobog, Ascalon gave me his complete file. It dates back to the time of Babel. So I trust him.
Amia, this is our first formal cooperation with Rhode Island.
Yes, it is. But if I might ask you a question.
Sure.
You didn't express your worries or concerns just now. Your innermost thoughts are to save lives, to put an end to the war and hate. Isn't that right?
I've heard that the King of Sarcus can see into people's hearts. It's different from the ambiguous feelings Zenas gets. I probably can't hide it from you.
I can respect a Sarcus who has struggled since the Babel days. I hope you can answer from your own free will.
So that's how it is. Yeah. I'm fighting for that future.
Very good. Thank you for your answer and your trust. Logos, Dr. Kaltsit, you're back.
I've analyzed the vampiric ritual. The results are worrying. It is indeed a blood blessing, using ancient and very fine techniques. The Sanguinarch borrows the witchcraft's power, collecting blood spilled in the war to activate the bloodline within the Sarcas warriors. He is giving the Sarcas a constant reminder of our fundamental differences with the other races. It's less amplification and more incitement. But most importantly, I'm afraid he's using only a small part of the power he's collected for this purpose. More energy is going somewhere else. Somewhere, I don't know. I tried to track it, but the structure of the arts is complex and chaotic. It only points to Londinium.
What is he playing at?
And that reminded me. At this very moment, at the center of the battlefield stands a Sarcas leader, even better at absorbing and exploiting death than the vampire. If it was really just about strengthening the warriors, why would they bother using the witchcraft of the Crimson Court? And why use an art circle, such that even the towns on the edge of this war get roped in?
Do you have a theory?
The airship, the Faramut, the shard, and the witchcraft device right here. The doctor's concerns are justified. As you said, the Faramut will be our most important breakthrough, and we must take action as soon as possible. Whether vampire or Nachtseher, even the Confessari, they are all exposed to Nightingale in the most unusual way. They are taking risks. There is a reason why the war is being fought at this particular point in time.
Theresis is preparing his final trump card in Londinium. Sure, seizing the capital of the Empire is already unheard of. But what could it be?
Let me start with a fundamental question. A question so fundamental that even the Sarcus have forgotten it. Why are the Sarcus so uniquely susceptible to oripathy?
Alright, and yep, that is where we're gonna leave off on the very question that Kalsit just posed there, and is hopefully gonna have a very interesting answer to it, but that will be for next time. And next time we'll be probably finishing off the entire story in one single episode, in one single swoop. But also, before we head on to our postcards to end the episode properly today, very quick, I like how all of these people that just came together, yes, the vast majority of them are or will be operators for Rhode Island at some point, or are already. But I love the perspective that this puts on, because we have a ton of operators. And obviously not all of them are on board of Rhode Island. They're liaisons or in different places. They're just working, you know, remotely, yada yada, all of that stuff. But I love the showcase here of all of these people. Yes, Rhode Island. But at the same time, oh boy, there is a lot of bad blood between them. A lot. And I love the tension between all of these people in that room. That was something, all right. Really enjoyed seeing how that is going. But anyway, next time we'll see how the story is gonna end. At least for now. For now, we're gonna go into our absolutely not depressing postcard selection. So let's begin with the one that we unlock on stage 11. It's titled Railroad Commemorative SE, and it's from Delphine, and it says, Mom, to get to the opening ceremony on time, Papa brought me along on a caravan route that only a few outsiders would know. The handler specially picked the most docile burden bees to carry us up the mountain, and we had to nestle in the 2 large saddlebags on its back. It was so cramped, but it was a really interesting experience too. I even learned that some burden beasts can drag a sled full of goods with their tails while carrying 3 to 4 people. I couldn't believe my eyes. This trip has not only corrected many of my misconceptions of Kierak, but helped me understand some other things too. The backward and isolationist Kierak exists only in the imaginations of those who understand Terra solely from the papers. In reality, things have always been changing across this beautiful land. I understand now why Papa was so insistent on bringing me along. Signed, Delphine, in the year 1093, June. Now very quickly here to put this into perspective, this is taking place, or rather this was written about 3 years prior to the side story, the Break the Ice side story that takes place in Kierak, which is in the year 1096, towards the end of the year, when Rhode Island is departing from Casimir's and is heading towards Londinium. But for that side story, the Doctor, together with Cliffheart, goes to her home territory, essentially, into Kierak, and that's where that whole story takes place. So yeah, 3 years apart. Interesting to keep in mind. And also, we get a second entry here, which says, Cipher has been decrypted. Mom, Dad taught me how to write in code. What do you think? He praised my talent for understanding what is worthwhile information too.
By the way, I found out that the railways and trains here have all adopted our Victorian standards. That says it's because the Duke of Castor has been backing the transformation of Kierak, but we don't need to worry about that.
So that is very interesting information right there. The Duke of Castor is backing, was backing back then the transformation and the development of Kierak, which is interesting. I do remember, but I don't also remember if it was said. I do remember from the Break the Ice story that there was obviously some Victorian financing that whole thing and helping out with the development behind the scenes, but I don't remember if the Duke of Castor or any Duke was specifically named back then. Again, it's been 2 years, it's been a while, so I don't remember. If any of you guys do remember, please do remind me in the comment section below. A refresher would be nice, especially because in a very short future we will have another story set in and around the place of Kierak. I don't actually know if it's set exactly in Kierak, but it definitely involves Kierak characters. But anyway, that's for another day and another time. For now, let's move on to our second unlock, which is from stage number 14, titled Honorable Duke of Windermere. And it says, "Very well done, Kent Windermere. You've indeed fulfilled the promise made on our wedding night. I will no longer entertain any objection to my decision from anyone in my demesne. Ken, our union has been the most unexpected thing to have happened to me since I inherited my title. When you tore through the crowd at the ball and barged into the command center to ask directly for my hand, your unabashed ambition deterred me from treating you as yet another frivolous nobleman. You gave up your family name and willingly subjected your honor as the Earl's second son to criticism. You've received many a cold shoulder while attending banquets with me, yet never uttered a word of complaint. As such, you deserve compensation from me. The pledge I made to you at our wedding, that someday Windermere too will hear from Lord Kent, has never expired. Attend the Duke's upcoming secret meeting in Londinium on my behalf. I have already appointed you as my plenipotentiary. Another thing, Delphine and I will arrange a private celebration at my headquarters upon your return. Signed, Amphiles, Duke of Windermere, Lincoln Inn, 1093-11. So, 5 months after that previous postcard, essentially. Also, very quickly, that very word there that breaks my tongue every time I try to say it, plenipotentiary, essentially is, in this case, he's a diplomat sent out by Windermere herself, by Amphiles, and he has been pretty much given all power to decide on the spot. He doesn't have to call back and check with, you know, the leadership of his country or his demesne about any decisions. He can make a decision on the spot. So that is the biggest honor you can give someone. Anyway, on the postcard it says, "It is just as I promised when I knelt before you on that fateful night. Till death do us part, I shall be your vassal, my duke." Signed, Kent Windermere. I said this when I read the first one blindly, but these are just gonna destroy my soul as I go through them. This family was amazing, and oh, God, what else to say there? Anyway, this will mark the end of this episode, so as usual, thank you guys for listening, thank you guys for watching. If you like this episode, please consider leaving a like on it. It will help me out a lot and mean a lot, of course. Leave comments, of course, as always. I always enjoy reading them, and as I said at the beginning, sometimes they do make me laugh, like last episode was amazing with certain comments, and yeah, thank you very much. And if you want to support me and my work more directly, there are memberships on the channel that you can join, and there will be no video behind a membership. It's literally just there to support me and the channel more directly. So yeah, thank you very much. Hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, Bye bye.